Hey there, this is Spencer, and I wanted to just do a value study. I'm getting ready to teach a workshop up in Door County, and so I thought I'd do a little prep work. So here is one of the photographs we're going to be working from right there. It's a driveway that's shadowed by some trees and got some distant buildings, and I just like the play of the lights and the darks on it. So with that in mind, I want to do a value study of this to show the students that how we're going to break this up into just some basic shapes and such. And so I took the image and I ran it through Notenizer app on my phone, and it kind of breaks it down. So this gives you a digital version. I think 3 or 4 levels of light, maybe three values there. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is working on that. And I'm going to set that right there where I can kind of keep my eye on it. And I'm going to use something I've not used before. Here it is. Here, it's Daniel Smith Payne's Gray Blue. I'm normally not a fan of Payne's Gray. Got nothing against it. I just haven't used it for years. So I bought me a tube the other day. We'll see what it does. So what I want to do is basically isolate all the white values first. So if we look in the color photograph here and look for the light areas, you can see down in this area here is light or white back in here. So I'm just going to isolate those areas, leave them white. Everything else is going to get a value of a medium value, and then I'll put the darker values in. So I'm just going to wet my brush here, set my water in there, stir my Payne's Gray up, and if you've painted with me before, you know I like to keep a piece of scrap around like this just to try my paint out on. So there's the Payne's Gray. This is Payne's Gray Blue shade. You see what that's doing right there. Alright, so I'm just wanting a medium value here. I don't want it real dark. So I'm adding a lot of water to it. And I'm just going to go back in here, and so I look at the photograph, just kind of lay in some values real fast. There's let's see here, to get this tree trunk in here, and come back, go right across there. Remember, the tree's going to be a lot darker. Just going to do this fast. And I'm going to leave, there are some like aspen or poplar trees like in the background there, and I'm just going to leave a suggestion of them. And the leaves are somewhat lighter, so I'm going to let them be represented by white up in here. Get that across there. Again, a lot of this is going to get covered up darker here in a little bit, but for now I'm just trying to capture the essence of it. And I try to let it dry brush and drag just a little bit. Modified the shapes of these barns back here just because I felt they would benefit from them. And I always feel free to take a little artistic license with it. So there's that, and I'm going to bring this down like so, into here. Leave a little pop of light there. So other building back there. So when I'm doing this, it allows me to work out a lot of my details that I would otherwise try to work out on the painting, and that often ends badly. So it's a time saver and a problem saver as well. Tie this in back here. There's a shadow cutting across this barn here, so I'm going to just do some kind of representation of that. And let's put a little edge to that, kind of suggest that it's more like a building that way. You can see this goes pretty fast. You don't need to take a lot of time with it. Cutting across there. I kind of botched that up a little bit because I wanted to get this. If you can see in this photograph here, the road dips and then you got the grass hump in the middle, and I wanted to catch that, and I didn't do that just the way I wanted to, so deduct 3 points for that. All right. So again, still keeping the lighter value here. Coming down, there's some that has a little darker feel to it, so I'm going to add a little more moisture. Just trying to keep some of the little spackling of sunlight that's coming there through there. There's a little cluster right here, and then the shadowing on the driveway is real important to me. Catch a little bit of that. There we go. It's coming along. Leave a few little sky holes punching through, if you will. And if you look, I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, I've changed my shadow shape there. I erased it because it just wasn't working. Okay, so just laying in the rest of the bulk of this big shadow area, and then I'm going to let it dry. Okay. So let's see, I could do this right here just to kind of suggest the grass edge of the driveway there a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, let this dry. I've got suggestion of building there, suggestion of building there, suggestion of tree trunks, suggestion of some foliage up there, and I'm going to come in and reinforce the darker areas that I see in here, which are, if you look right here, these dark shadows underneath here, as well as the tree trunks and the foliage. I'm going to treat that all as one shape there, but I got to let it dry first, so I'll be back in just a minute. We are back. I've got the painting dry, or my value study dry to this point. So I'll just show you the brush I'm using here. It is just it's a rosemary mop brush. I mean, you could call it a round. I call it a mop. It's a Kolinsky Sable. Just very flexible, versatile brush, so I like it. You don't have to use anything expensive. That was probably a $30 brush. This right here is a Low Cornell number 6, actually like a rigger almost. It's a round, but it works wonderful for this too. So, and that's probably $7, $8, $10 brush whenever I bought it. Okay, so now I'm mixing up my rich darks over here, which is just off camera as I'm looking at it. And I'm going to come in and just quickly lay in these dark shapes now. Plenty of pigment because I want this to be significantly darker. Leave that little sky hole peeking through there. Come down through here. Just like that. A little more water. So the water gives me time to work with it. It buys me time, basically. So I want to just kind of, even though this is just a quick value study, it helps me see things that are going on in the painting and the photograph, and so it will help me to get, by spending a little time trying to catch the ruggedness of this oak tree. I guess it's an oak. It's a very, very rugged tree, I'll put it that way. It will help me when it comes time for painting it. So you can see how it's starting to give us some distance there. And you got this foliage out here that comes up, and I'll carry it over here to a decent stopping point. Okay, and the shadows, as they just morph down out of the tree, and the tree and the shadow they just all merge into one shape, and that's the thing that is key here that you pick up. I'm going to work to get that ridge in the road there a little bit. A little highlight back in there. And we'll carry this on over. Go on up into here. Go just like so. And I'm going to drop a little moisture in there to buy me some time. Come up here and try to finish out these tree shapes up in here. Just kind of scumble that around real quick. I lost a good little white spot there. I wish I'd left it alone, but hopefully when I get to painting, that will, in the actual picture, that will flash back to me. Too big a chunk there. Okay, and then just a little suggestion of these trees over here. Okay, so that's working nice there. All right, now I want to take and finish this out down here. So we've got that shadow area right there. And bring this down like so. And there's driveway in here, so there's dark shaded grass and then driveway, and so I want to capture that. And I didn't sketch that part in, but that's all right. The longer I paint, the more I find I'm drawing with my brush. I make corrections and adjustments with my brush, so by all means feel free to do that. Nice little white spot there, going to leave that alone. And working my way over here along the edge of the road. Come up here. Okay, so there's that. And then the dark just kind of fades out down here. So this is going to work pretty well for what I'm wanting. And then bring this down a little bit, kind of suggest that road. So, yeah, a couple little cross lines and little residuals there. Just kind of suggest grass or darker areas in there. Okay. And then lastly, I'm going to come back up in here. Oop, bumped the camera, sorry about that. Come back up in here and accentuate in between these aspen trunks and such. And right here, got it dark under that eave of that barn. Dark right there, dark there. And a couple hits of dark right in there. Just kind of speaks the language of a building. Dark under there. And let's see here. Not even sure what's going on there in the photograph. It's a little unclear, but that's okay. I just want a suggestion of a building. And then again, a little bit more dark popped in here to kind of make the building stand out just a tiny bit there. So, okay, so there we are. We've got our darks and our lights in there, and our mid values, and we've learned a little bit about the scene that we're going to be painting, so that will help us as we get into it. So, all right, I'll show you the picture here, what it looks like when I get it dry, and can bring the camera over to it. So there you are. I don't always do a value study before I paint a picture, but if I'm working in watercolor, I try to. Again, I don't always, but I try to. I'll just be totally honest with you about it. If I'm working in an opaque medium like acrylic or watercolor, or I'm sorry, acrylic or oil casing, I usually do kind of the value study in the drawing with paint, and then once I get that laid out, then I will make my final, from there, then I start to colorize it, I guess. But with watercolor, the value study, a separate value study, is really nice. So I'd encourage you to do it, give it a try, and see how you like it. All right, so I'll be talking to you sometime down the road here. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.